So how are you feeling about the pick now?
May I remind my partner straight across the table that he ridiculed that pick to the point that he bet me 3 cases of Diet Mountain Dew that Michigan would lose 5 games this year.
Oh, you're getting those cases.
It could
then.
still happen, I guess, but they're at Rutgers and then Indiana, and then they have to
That
go
don't
to
even
the
count.
Ohio State.
Rutgers in Indiana.
Rutgers,
Oh, they count.
No, they don't count.
Michigan is favored by 40 points at Rutgers.
Really?
on Saturday
How
by
about that?
40 points.
But you want to talk about Alabama, who they play.
Well, easy. They got the Citadel coming up.
Oh,
So
we got them.
let's not throw
So
stones
are you
in glass
conceding
houses.
the 3 more cases? Should I up my stakes here to I'm up 13 on you now?
You're not up anything.
Okay.
Because I'm going to get it back when they play in the college football playoff.
So I'm going to say it again. I do believe, even though it's a long shot, because that Alabama team just might be Nick Saban's best team ever, because he's got by far his best quarterback
Absolutely.
ever.
Yeah.
But Michigan's quarterback is pretty good. I'm not saying he's great, but he's a good college quarterback, which is what I called him in August. And this team has all the ingredients to pull off the upset of Alabama because it plays defense. And to me, Don Brown's he's as good a coordinator as there is in college football, right?
And there's hands down at this point.
Hands down. And they are number 1 in yards allowed. They're number 1 in pass defense, which could cause Tua some issues. And they have a pass rush. You interviewed Chase Winovich at the end of the Northwestern game, and Rashawn Gary's finally back from his shoulder injury. And every time I look up, Uche is in somebody's backfield causing havoc. And on offense, they are 4th in the country in time of possession, 35 minutes to 25. Is that a formula for beating Alabama? Just keep the football away from Tua? Sure it is. Shea Patterson he's 14 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, and he's a nifty ball handler who can run it on key plays. He can do the read option, and he'll scramble, and he'll get away. Key play yards. And Karan Higdon, I don't know if he's going to be a great pro back, but he's a really good college football running back. 120 yards a game. In that receiving court, they got Tariq Black back, and he's their one speed guy, and he caught a touchdown pass the other day that got nullified on a formation problem, but he can fly, and Nico Collins and Peoples-Jones and Zach Gentry's going to be the first tight end taken in the draft. All of a sudden, all the ingredients are there to at least make it credible against Alabama. So if they do meet, and it's still a long ways to go because Michigan's got to go win at the Ohio State.
That's right.
But I will pick Michigan to beat Alabama if it comes to that in the national semifinal.
Well, I'm going to get half of my cases back. Go ahead, Joe.
On that, you or me, right? You or me. Okay, listen. Everything that you just said, everything was true until the end. You still can't pick Michigan, even with all of that being true. I didn't disagree with a thing you said. Michigan's fantastic. I love the Michigan Wolverines right now. Their defense is playing at a level right now that, quite frankly, I haven't seen in quite some time, even from teams like Alabama in the past couple of years. The problem is that when you pit Michigan up against Alabama, what you run into is an Alabama team that defensively is also very good. In fact, Alabama, on average, holds their opponents about 15 points under what those teams normally average for the season. Okay, and they've faced 5 top 50 offenses as according to yards per play. So it's not like they haven't played anybody in that statistical category. Well, if you hold Michigan 15 points under what they average, that's 21. They score 21 because Michigan scores 36, 21. So you're saying, hey, Michigan's going to score 3 touchdowns against the Tide.
And win.
As much as I love Don Brown and that defense, you're not holding Alabama 30 points under what they average. It's just not going to happen, regardless of how much time of possession you have. I mean, maybe 1 out of 10 times Michigan would get them. They get 2 or 3 turnovers. They hold the ball for close to 40 minutes, and then they were able to get them in the end. But in any type of model that you build, Alabama beats Michigan 9 out of 10 times by the score of about 34 or 35 to 21. That's what it is. I don't think there's any team in America outside of Clemson that can stay within 2 possessions of Alabama. That's the striking part. When you go through the data, Clemson's the only team in America that can stay within 2 possessions. Even OU, that score would be about 50 to 37. Alabama.
50. Now we get, hold on.
Hey, Oklahoma, I know them all too well. They could not hold Alabama to 50 points. I don't believe it. They couldn't hold Texas Tech. If the quarterback hadn't got hurt at halftime, Texas Tech would have had 60.
I don't disagree with you.
And the thing is, and I agree with you, Clemson is really the only team because Lawrence can throw the ball. That situation has been clarified now that Kelly Bryant has been removed. But here's the thing. If Tua's healthy, Nobody's beating Alabama.
I don't see it either.
Nobody's beating Alabama, Skip. Those receivers, that's the best group of receivers that Nick Saban has ever had at one particular time. Now, Julio Jones might have been the best, he's better than all of them. Amari Cooper. But together, this is the best group.
That's right.
Quarterback is not even close. Tua's going to go down as the best quarterback to ever come. And they had Bart Starr, they had Joe Namath, all those. None of them's going to be able to touch Tua.
I don't know if he's better than Joe Namath.
I
don't know if he's better than Joe Namath at Alabama.
Stop it, Skip.
He was
Stop
special.
Skip, the man just came off the bench and delivered it. What quarterback you know in the history of the game can come off the bench at halftime and Coach Saban say, go get me that championship? We got it.
I'm old enough to remember this, but Joe Namath was a running quarterback at Alabama, and he could really run.
Tua, did you see Tua with a bum leg? With a flat tire and go get a touchdown? And here's the thing, Skip. Michigan ranks 96th in pass offense.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
What you do? Now, you know to beat St. Nick. As Trevor Knight did, as you so eloquently, you love to bring that up. He lost to Trevor Knight in the Sugar Bowl. Chad Kelly. Deshaun Watson. How did they beat him?
Almost twice.
How did they beat him? You're not going to line up in an eye. You're not going to line up and split back and run the ball down Nick Saban's throat.
LSU's been trying to do that for years.
Ask Leonard Fournette how that worked out for him. Now, Zeke got 230, but Cordell Jones threw for like 250, had some timely runs in there too. But if you think you're just going to turn around and hand it to your running back and run the ball down that 3-4 defense, that's not going to happen. But they got old defensive back, old Pat Surtain Jr. He might be the best cornerback in football and a true freshman.
The only team that hasn't gotten a lot of love, and it's because of the quarterback situation, I think. Early in preseason, it was all Bama and Clemson, Bama and Clemson. Then all of a sudden, the Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence saga started to play out, and Clemson kind of fell off. Maybe didn't play their best in the opening month of the season. You know what they've done in their last 4?
Rough shot.
They have drilled everybody to the point where they're winning games by right now an average of 50 points. An average of 50 points in their last 4. In fact, when you look at what they've done, 240 to 36, 51-point margin in their last 4 games. If you average everything out, if you take all the data and you throw it in there and you say Bama's going to hold Clemson about 15 points under what they normally score and Clemson's going to hold Alabama about 18 points under what they normally score, because that's what those defenses do, guess what you get? The only tight ball game that Alabama could potentially play. I would predict Alabama would win that ball game 34-32, and they're the only team in America that can stay within a possession. That's what the math says. That's what the data says. That's what my eyes say.
And we good at math over here.
I know what my eye test says, that Michigan has 4 receivers who are going to play pro football. And I think you're both underestimating how they would be able to throw the ball against Alabama, because they would have to throw
do it with consistency.
He's accurate. He doesn't have a big arm, but he's got an accurate arm.
I don't think that, candidly, and I love Jim and I love Pep Hamilton. I'm speaking of their offensive quarterback. They coach the quarterbacks. They've got Jim McElwain.
Jim McElwain coaches the receivers.
He's the receivers
That's as good a coaching staff as you will find in America.
I agree. And when I watch Shea play, it's like he's playing in handcuffs.
Okay,
because they don't let him throw the ball down the field. Even when he
that's
escapes the
of
pocket,
Jim
he's got
Harbaugh.
to
But
get.
the last 2 games, as they're on their revenge tour, is that what they're calling it? Yeah. I'm seeing the handcuffs come off.
Maybe.
They started to come off against Penn State, and I saw him start to operate with a little swagger and confidence that I had not seen. He is good enough to beat Alabama.
When they go to the shoe, we'll see.
Yeah.
Because if Urban doesn't get it, we got something for him in the Alabama invitation.
Yeah, we'll see. And, I watched Tua very closely the other night, and he was starting to look, dare I say, human, because I saw 4 or 5 passes that were starting to wobble and go sideways. I don't know. I started seeing
I think maybe 1 or 2 out of 10, Michigan could win. But I mean, 8 times out of 10, Bama's winning that game by 2 scores.
Who leading the nation in QBR, Skip? You love that stat now.
I know, but Shea Patterson's 11th in total QBR. That's pretty good.
So that means there's 10 between 1 and 11.
Okay.
There's 10 people between them.
Karan Higdon is pretty good.
Karan Higdon would not get 50 yards.
That's exactly the problem right there. We've seen Leonard Fournette, who I think was historically good at the college level, and he couldn't do anything against Alabama. And this Bama defense might not be quite as great as they have been over the last couple of years, but rest assured, this is still a very good defense. Like I said, they're still in the top 5 in defense, top 10 in scoring defense, and they've faced 5 top 50 offenses so far this year. So it's not like they haven't played anybody now.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Jim Harbaugh was a far better NFL coach than Nick Saban. And when it comes to big games, I'll go with Jim Harbaugh.
Don't do that, Skip.
Anytime.
Skip,
I'll take him.
Skip, he just beat Michigan State for like the first time. Stop.
Okay. He's beaten everybody for the first time. But you know what? It just keeps
working.
happening over and over again. Hottest team in America is Michigan.
Nothing you're saying is wrong, except for like Jim's never even won a conference championship in college. Let him at least do that. Nick Saban
he's won
5
conferences.
How do you get hotter than ghost peppers? We're as hot as you can get right now. We're a million on the Scoville meter.
Since 2008, Nick Saban has won more national championships than he's lost home games.
Oh, that's
Did you know that?
Well, it's an ugly number.
Now he does. Now he does.
All right, Joel, on that note, thank you for being here. Always a good time. We have former Browns coach Hugh Jackson. He's going to be here live in studio.
Yep.
Next, we have a lot to talk to him about coming up.